Hey, Dave Stobblin here, along with my creepy friend Sheldon. Hey. Let's talk about coterminal angles. So I have an angle drawn here, and you can see it's a little darker. And we're going to say that's 0 degrees. And before we start, the first thing we got to know is that when we go counterclockwise, these are considered positive angles, and when we go clockwise, these are considered negative angles. Now the next thing that we have to do is a little vocabulary. This side of the angle we are going to call the initial side of the angle, and then this side over here is going to be called the terminal side of the angle. Now, initial means start and terminal means end. So we are going to start with the initial and we are going to end with the terminal. And let's just say, for example, this is 120 degrees. Okay? Now, when we say coterminal angles, co means together, and so coterminal means that they start and stop at the same spot. Now, how could that work? Well, we could start here and go counterclockwise 120, or we could start at the initial and we could go the other way around and end up at the terminal side. Now, this angle, let's see, would be 360 minus 120 would be 240 degrees, except it's going in the negative direction. So we have to say negative 240. So these are coterminal because they start and end in the same position. We just measure them in a positive direction and a negative direction. And we always have to remember the positive and the negative direction. Okay. So let's do a couple of examples, and then I think we'll be set. So let's say, for example, that we have an initial side here and a terminal side here, and we'll say that this is negative 30 degrees. Well, how could we figure out the coterminal around the other direction? Well, we could do 360 minus 30 is 330 degrees. And then we have to evaluate which way did we go around. We went around in the positive direction, so we could leave that positive. Okay? All right, let me show you one more example of another way that we could do it. Let's say that that's the initial side, and we'll say that's the terminal side, and let's just say this angle is 30 degrees. Well, here's another way that we could measure this angle. What if we went all the way around the circle 360 degrees and then another 30? So this would be 360 plus 30 is 390 degrees. So it's very possible that you can go all the way around and then a little bit further. Those are coterminal angles. All right, I think we have time for another one. Let's not draw a picture. Let's say that we have an angle that is 400 degrees, and we want to find an angle that is coterminal. Well, all you have to do is if it's a positive, just subtract 360. And 40 degrees and 400 degrees are coterminal. Now let's say that we had a negative angle. Let's say we had negative, 370 degrees. Well, if this is negative and we want to find a coterminal, we could just add 360 to it and learn that those two, negative 370 and negative 10, are coterminal angles. So there we go. I hope that was easy to understand, and I hope that you're able to work with this and do some good math.